Afternoon, YouTube. How are you today? It's Thursday afternoon. It's hot, it's humid down under. Golly gosh, the weather. One day we have 40-degree hot days where you can fry an egg on the pavement, and the next day we have cold 20-degree chilly days. It's quite weird. Fires are still going on, and that's what gets me to the point to this video. The fires. Got me thinking about a few things lately, and I suppose my videos, in a way, my videos can be perceived as unreligious in a way, because to me, God and religion are completely two different things. Religion is man-made, and God is the energy that creates us and creates, doesn't destroy. And we, in a way, are the lights of that creation, and we've been given a great big home to look after. And in the ancient days, a lot of people believed that in their own different ways. And I was listening to this song this morning. Gosh, I'm hopeless with names and labels. My memory is so shocking lately. Man Gave Name to the Animals by Bob Dylan. Quite an interesting song. Very simple and plain if you just look at the lyrics. But once you entwine the lyrics to the music, and some of the live versions are different, but I'm talking about the recorded version, this one, and you hear the recorded version and you hear that go through, then it stops. The last lines of the song is you hear something slithering away, and then the song just stops, blatantly stops. And that got me thinking of my childhood and growing up in the old Catholic way, and a lot of problems I had personally growing up with what I was being told and what I saw, and they were two completely different things. I was immensely preached into my head to love one another and love your neighbour, and your neighbour is someone who thinks like you, who doesn't want to harm another. And there was one book of the Bible that I was never really taught, and I remember as a teenager I took it to my grandfather and I said, "What is this book, Grandfather?" This book everyone talks about, Revelations. When I was young, back in the 80s, it was the end days back then. We had the Cold War was just ending, but we had problems everywhere else, and as a teenager you didn't know if you were going to wake up to or if it was just going to be nuclear fallout and war all over the place. And I got to thinking, and I looked at that book. I've never read it, but you can sort of hear it, but especially with the fires today, there's some people that will say that because we turned our back on God and we didn't want God, that the fires are here surrounding us. And it's not just us here in Australia, it's a lot of people everywhere. If you have bad luck, or if you haven't got a job, or if you haven't got work, or if you've got a disability, you haven't been blessed by God. And for one, I know for pure fact, when you give birth, your children have no choice of where they're born, they have no choice of what they're born into, and so that didn't fit too right with me. And it's the way we teach and guide our children through life. Life is what they became. Like I believe, and like I've said in all my videos, we are the caretakers of the earth. We don't own anything. We don't own the earth. We're here to look after each other and look after the earth. And that to me is what God is all about. It's not about words. It's not about trying to prove who's right and wrong. It's not about saying one culture is a savage culture because they don't dress in fancy clothing, and we need to civilize them, which has been done, as we've seen throughout history over the last couple of thousand years. Now we get to civilization. So, the wishes of Revelation to me. Revelation was a letter, a dream, because back in the ancient days they were sort of doing the same things, like asbestos. Look at asbestos, is known throughout history and it's been documented that they were using asbestos and people were getting sick. So there were some people that had a connection to each other, had a connection to the earth, and were trying to tell people that it wasn't good to take things from the earth and change it, because we didn't understand. We need to understand what that object was doing in the earth before we take it out. Now we come to 2,000 years later and we've got technology that sort of shows us what asbestos does in the earth and how dangerous it is outside. So when you look at Revelations, it's like a letter or a dream to someone about that stuff, in a way, about what can happen if we keep on denying our caretaking roles and destroying our home, our big home, not our little homes, but our big home that we all live in and have to share as a world. And it's really hard because a lot of people look at that book as revenge, or because you've been bad people, God's going to strike you down, or he's left us. For me, God can't leave us because we're a part of God. We're all little atoms. We're all little chemical factories that just join together. And if we're molded by God in a way that joins us as one, but we're unique and confusing and uniquely, and we become one in that uniqueness to create something different that nobody knows about. No one knows what's going to happen if we share and care and look after each other and not try to destroy each other by war and words and power and greed and all those stuff that's been going on throughout history. You just have to go and research it. It's simple. So I think the Wishes of Revelation to me was sort of a book to help people, not wait for a day to destroy each other. Like, take for instance, I read an article the other day about whiskey and how people were selling whiskey to each other and saying that the whiskey's old from before World War One and World War Two, when really, when you look at it, most of the alcohol and whiskey from those days would have been destroyed in the wars. So this really clever little scientist came up with this idea, and it's clever in a way, but it's also very sad. So hear me out. This clever little scientist came up with this idea that he started testing all the grains, and realised that as time went on, since World War II, the grains, there was a protein from the atomic explosions that stayed in the grains. So from all this is totally insane. I'll put the link of the article when I upload this video for you to read, because I'm definitely not saying it scientific words properly. But the isotopes from all that nuclear testing got set in our grains, and he could test these bottles of whiskey, and if they had these isotopes and how much they had these isotopes to determine the age. And some person was trying to sell this bottle of whiskey saying it was really old, worth heaps of money, and he actually found out it was made in the 70s because of the isotopes of the atomic experiments. So if you look at that, in a way, to me, the wishes of Revelation and the writings of Revelation was to stop that from happening, stop us from changing the earth, because that's what we're doing. We're changing our bodies, we're changing the earth, and we've been doing it for a while, and we just haven't had the time to sit back and notice. But if you think about it, if some scientist dude can work out the age of whiskey from nuclear fallout, God hasn't left us, we've left God with our words and our religion and our forcing Jesus and everyone onto each other, because the only way Australia's been able to survive these bushfires is from help from each other, people helping each other. I haven't survived through life because I've waited and waited for Jesus or a God to come and help me. I've survived through life because I've gone and sought help through many things. I've also sought help and haven't received the help I got. But I believe we are the mirrors of God. So just put your words away, put your religion away, and start being the God you want to see. Because when you look at an atomic bomb and you look at splitting the atom, God can't leave us, because if he leaves us, we wouldn't be here. No one would be here. The earth wouldn't be here. Nothing would be here. Because we are all part of that creation. And it's just so sad we don't see that. Now, I did blabble on this video, and once I upload it, I am going to watch it and probably do another one, because it's a really tough subject to talk about, because you got, I don't know what they're called, they've got some funny Christian name, but they really want to condemn people. They really want to say if bad things happen it's because it's God, and that's disrespectful to God, totally, because it's got nothing to do with God. God gave us a beautiful painting. He gave us something beautiful to work with. We destroyed it. It's up to us to fix it. And just lucky that the energy of life is still around for us to do something about it. So, to me, the meaning of Revelations is stop the blaming and stop taking the iron out of the earth and killing each other with it, and leave it in the earth and live with each other. It's simple. And help each other. You can pray for each other, but actions are so much better. So have a think of that on YouTube and let me know if I'm wrong, because seriously, I haven't really done much reading on this subject, so because all you people who say God's a revengeful, hateful God, you put me off of him. So have a think and let me know what you think. Bye YouTube. Keep well and keep safe, by the way. And look after each other, because that's the only way.